This is part 3 of my series on how to start an enrichment program in your school. My videos are mainly about what do you do with a kindergartner or a first grader, especially if you're someone that's accustomed to being in older classes with older children. Sometimes it's a little intimidating to go into a classroom with little bitty ones. So I'm going to show you how to read a book. Now, for most people that aren't used to little kids, this is the hardest part because you feel so silly when you do it. But if you will read a book the right way, the students will be completely engaged with you. The best compliment I ever got from a 5-year-old, I was reading a book by Kevin Henkes, one of his little mouse books, and I was reading a voice of Lily. And Lily's very loud and she takes over. And the little boy raised his hand and he said, "Boy, she's really loud." And I knew when he said that he was not hearing me read. He was hearing Lily talk. So that gave me so much encouragement because they do love it when you act out or use voices and make the book more exciting. So I have 2 books that I'm going to just show you an example. This is Ruby the Copycat. This is the book that I talked about previously. This is the very first book that I read to any and every grade because it is about being a copycat, and we talk about being original. And it's a very cute little book, and Ruby basically is a new student at school, and when she comes in, she wants to fit in very well. So she starts copying the little girl in front of her named Angela. And so as I begin to read this, I would say, Monday was Ruby's first day in Miss Hart's class. "Class, this is Ruby," announced Miss Hart. "Ruby, you may use the empty desk behind Angela. Angela is the girl with a pretty red bow in her hair." Angela smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at Angela's bow and tiptoed to her seat. So it's very important that we pull the children into the story that we're reading. They're used to cartoons and videos and movies in 3D, and so if you read a book quickly and in a monotone voice, it will not keep their attention. One of the other things that we do is we do try to rush through books. Monday was Ruby's first day in Miss Hart's class. That's not very interesting. If you read it a little slower, it helps them to become part of the story. Here's the next page. "I do hope everyone had a pleasant weekend," said Miss Hart. "Does anyone have anything to share?" "I was the flower girl at my sister's wedding," said Angela. "Ah, that's so exciting," said Miss Hart. So you will get excited too as you read the book with a little more enthusiasm and to try to draw the child into the story. This is a book that I read at Halloween called Where's the Baby by Pat Hutchins, and it is about a little baby that gets into everything and leaves a mess everywhere they go. And so in this one I give the grandma a voice and the ma a voice and the sister Hazel a voice. So, "Where's the baby?" Grandma cried. "In the garden," Ma replied. "Making a mess," said Hazel. Because Hazel is the sister and she is very frustrated with the baby. And so as I go through, I try to, the hard part is keeping the right voices with the right character. "Oh dear," Ma shouted in alarm, grabbing hold of Grandma's arm. "He's gone!" But Hazel noticed on the floor footprints in the corridor. "They lead to the kitchen," Hazel cried, and everybody rushed inside. "Oh, such a help in the kitchen," said Grandma. So it's kind of hard to do at first, to put yourself out there and to act a little silly and a little crazy. But if we are asking the kids to be original, and if we are asking them to put themselves out there and to be original and not to be like everyone else, which is what the world tells them. We all want to wear the same clothes and we all want to have the same jeans and we all want to have the same shoes. If we are asking them to put themselves out there and to be different, then we have to be willing to model that as well. So remember, when you are reading a book, read it slower, put expression in it, don't read it monotone, and if you can, try to give the characters voices to draw the children into the story. Just like the little boy, that was not me reading Lily, that was Lily saying those things to him. So try to put yourself out there and be a little silly.